Hey guys, it's me Saran. I'm back with another video brought to you by the iPad. It's Wednesday, so my computer charger should be arriving today, and I should be able to get back to doing my regular videos on the computer. That's also why the video that I put up on Monday about Columbus Day didn't have any links, because the enter doesn't really work. When I try to space it to add the links like I normally do, it just keeps retrying to upload or whatever because I'm hitting enter or go, whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna go back after my computer is up and running and put links. So I told you guys on Monday that I wanted to make another video on Ferguson after I was, a little bit more well rested and whatnot. I've gotten some sleep this week, so I wanted to make this second video about Ferguson. And as I'm sure you guys saw by the title, this video is called Why Ferguson? And the reason why this video is called Why Ferguson is because a lot of people, when I was getting ready to go and, now that I'm back, a lot of people have been asking me, why did I go? Why did I want to go? Do I have friends there? Do I have family there? Is there anything in particular that prompted me to go? What did I learn? Do I think other people need to go? And things like that. And these questions to me are kind of confusing because I feel like, isn't it obvious why I went? Isn't it obvious why people are going? But then when you read about, Ferguson October and stuff like that on the news, there's tons of, not that you guys should read the news because the news is garbage, but there's tons of comments on these websites that say, well, I don't understand. I don't understand why they're out there. I don't understand why they're protesting. I don't get it. What do they want? So I wanted to make this video, why Ferguson, to kind of give an explanation of why I went personally and why I feel like, people are out there protesting. Of course, I can't speak for the group as a whole. This is just my opinion. And the only way you'll know is to go to Ferguson yourself and to ask the protesters why they're there and why they're doing what they're doing. So I want to start off with addressing questions of, well, I don't know why they're out there. I don't get it. What do they want? What are they protesting? What is the point? I feel like it's interesting when people say this because the protesters have actually released a list of demands. You can type in, Ferguson protest list of demands, and on their website they have a list. You can download it, PDF files, you can view it on your computer, whatever your browser is, they have it right there in black and white. But in case you didn't know, they have a list of 5 demands. I'm going to read them to you. I have them here. So the list of demands that the protesters want. They're calling for an end to participation in a program providing military equipment to police, which, as we saw, the militarization of the Ferguson and the St. Louis Police Department kind of cracked down on protesters with tanks, tear gas, rubber bullets, wooden bullets, sniper rifles, all kinds of insane stuff. They want to call for an end to that. They want body cameras for all officers, which is, self-explanatory. They want a civilian review board for police, and they also want mandatory independent investigations whenever police kill someone. That might have actually only been 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 4. I'm sorry, 4 demands, not 5. And I feel like these demands are not unreasonable, right? They're really not unreasonable. Body cameras for all officers, that will be better for everyone, right? Because now when a cop says, so-and-so lunged at me, there will be no dispute. Well, let's go pull up the footage of the body cameras and we can see, did so-and-so lunge at you? Yes or no? I feel like body cameras will put everyone on better behavior with the police. The police will have to behave better because they're on camera, and the people that they are, the suspects that they are pursuing or confronting or whatnot will also have to behave better because they will also be on camera. So there won't be any, I said the police chased me when they really didn't, and there will also be no, I said the suspect, jumped out of the bushes at me and he really didn't. This will be better for everyone. A civilian review board for police. I think that's an excellent idea. If you have a civilian review board, this essentially gives people that don't have any ties to law enforcement the ability to review police action. And the reason why this is good, and the reason why they specifically said a civilian review board, is because when you have people that don't have ties to law enforcement, they don't have anything to gain, right? They don't have any type of vested interest. They're able to be clear-headed, concise. They don't have a bias. They can look at the facts and, as best they can, make an objective ruling. I watched an interview recently where I want to say it was on MSNBC, where they had a legal analyst come in and they were asking about, why did she personally feel like the grand jury is taking so long, and why is the police department kind of dragging their feet? And she goes, well, even though the grand jury is made up of civilians, the prosecutor is involved, in showing them evidence. Darren Wilson has came in himself and testified. She said it's always hard to get legal action taken against other members of law enforcement, be it police, be it lawyers, be it sheriffs, deputies, detectives. It's always hard because it's close-knit. It's almost like a brotherhood, Well, women are involved as well, so brotherhood, sisterhood, family, whatever you want to call it. It's always difficult to bring legal action against someone that's already a member of the law enforcement, right? There's a conflict of interest there. So I think a civilian review board for police is an excellent idea. And they also said they want mandatory independent investigations whenever police kill someone, because right now there's really no protocol in place for when police kill someone. You have to fill out a report. The body goes to the coroner, but there's really no set protocol. It varies from police department to police department. And something that I learned while I was in Ferguson was that in St. Louis, they're broken up into all these different municipalities, Ferguson, Shaw, St. Louis PD, and they all have their own police department. I want to say it's over 40. I believe it might be even 44, different municipalities with their own police department. And it can vary from police department to police department. There is no standard protocol in place for when the police kill someone. So they're saying there should be mandatory independent investigation. So outside of the police chief investigating his own, police officers, outside of, the public prosecutor, outside of that, all that stuff that we're seeing going on in Ferguson, we should have, a protocol in place with a review board ready to go, independent of law enforcement, to step in and investigate when something like this happens. These are their 4 demands. Clear, concise. They've marched down to City Hall several times now. They're supposed to be going back today, Wednesday, to present, these to the mayor and to the City Hall and to the council members. And they're getting a lot of pushback against these. So when you hear people say, well, I don't know what they want. They're just out there yelling and screaming and protesting for no reason. What's the end goal? There is an end goal. Just because you haven't heard of it, just because you haven't seen them talking about it on the news, just because they want to talk about looting and rioting and people getting arrested and laying down in the street and doing sit-ins at gas stations, doesn't mean that there isn't an end goal. There's a clear, concise end goal that they want to take to a national level and to a federal level. They want these kind of changes to be implemented, nationally across the country. That is why they're protesting, and that's why they want all of us all over the country to get involved and to organize action in our own cities and in our own states, because this affects all of us. And then this kind of leads me into something else that I wanted to address, which was people asking me why I was going. Why did I feel like I had a vested interest in going? Did I know anyone there? Did I know Mike Brown? Do I have friends and family? No, I don't. But the reason why I felt like I needed to go is because this is something that affects all of us, okay? Even if you want to not talk about race, so we won't talk about race for right now, even though this stuff does intersect. Let's talk about police brutality. Police brutality can affect anyone. It can affect me. It can affect you, young people, old people, men, women, black, white, Hispanic, whatever. Police brutality can affect all of us, The fact that police can shoot any person, and not be arrested, indicted, or brought under any type of independent review board unless people go out there and protest for what is now 66, 67 days is absurd. It's ridiculous, Down here in Florida, in Miami, they tased this kid, Hispanic kid, to death. He was doing graffiti. They tased him to death. It's on camera. Those people haven't been arrested. They haven't been fired. They explained, oh, he was vandalizing the property. We went to arrest him. He was resisting. We had to tase him. It's unfortunate that he died. They're shown on camera, excessively tasing this poor boy. He had a heart attack and died, okay? That wasn't a black person. That was a Hispanic. Of course, I do think that has to do with race, but, we're just sticking with that right now. As it stands right now, the police can kill you and get away with it. You. Where's the camera? You watching this, I'm talking to you. The police can kill you right now and get away with it. They can shoot, they can empty a clip at you 17 times and get away with it. They can shoot you 21 times and get away with it, They can hit you with a hail of bullets, a barrage of bullets, and get away with it. They can use excessive force. They can kick down the door and come in your house. They can pull you over if they feel like it. They're involved in these, government-sanctioned military programs where they receive surplus military equipment, where in Ferguson, Missouri, a suburb of St. Louis that has 10,000 residents, they have tanks. Why do they have a tank? Why do they have tear gas at their disposal? What is the point of these, government programs that militarize that militarize the police, okay? Police brutality, excessive force, police militarization, our living in a police state, these are things that exist completely outside of race and racism. And these are issues that people need to be concerned about. And this is part of the reason why I personally felt like I needed to go to Ferguson, because I'm not comfortable with living in what I feel is a police state, where at any moment, cops dressed in SWAT gear, not actual SWAT teams, just cops dressed in SWAT gear, can kick down my front door and say, oh, we thought, there was a drug raid going on here. Oh, check my clipboard. Oh, I'm sorry, dispatch gave me the wrong address. But I've already kicked down your door, pepper sprayed you, tased you, and I have you in handcuffs. But, I'm a cop, so that's fine. I can do that. That's excessive, and that needs to concern all of us, right? Then, walking hand in hand with that, intersectionality is the systematic nature of racism, the unconscious bias, the racial profiling. There have been proven studies, this is for all my people out there like Paul Callan that require evidence. There have been proven studies that say that people have an unconscious bias towards Black and brown bodies, Blacks and Hispanics, There have been proven studies, you can look them up. Someone received a grant just this year, okay, for her studies that showed that when she showed pictures of Blacks and Hispanics followed by weapons, people more easily identified the weapons than when she showed pictures of white people followed by the weapons. So basically what her study did was she had blurry photos of Black people, Hispanic people, and white people, and blurry photos of different types of weapons. So she would show a photo of a white person and then a photo of a weapon. Photo of a Black person, photo of a weapon. Photo of a Hispanic person, photo of a weapon. People were more likely to identify the weapons when they saw the people of color than when they saw the white person. When they saw the white person and then they saw the blurry weapon, it was kind of like, oh, I don't know. Is it a stick? Is it a golf club? When they saw the Black person, the Hispanic person, it's a knife. Oh, are you sure? Yeah, I'm 100% sure it's a knife. It's clearly a knife. But when she showed them that exact same picture, followed by after they saw a white person, they were unsure, okay? And this is what leads to things like the shooting of Vondrett Myers, in which an off-duty cop sees a Black kid on the corner holding his pants and automatically assumes he's holding a gun, when he possibly sees the bulge of his ankle monitor and automatically assumes that perhaps he has a gun in an ankle holster. This is an unconscious bias. This is racism, this is racial profiling, and it walks hand in hand with police brutality, because when you have an excessively strong and militarized police force, you couple that with systematic racism and an unconscious bias, and now you have a clash, right? You have a problem. You have the issue of what we have in this country, where every 28 hours a Black person is shot by a cop, a vigilante, or a citizen with a gun, okay? That is why people are in Ferguson. That is why they are marching. That is why they are protesting. That is why they are calling for acts of civil disobedience. That's why they need everyone that they can get there. It is a race thing, but it is also about the state of the police force in this country, about our government, about the lack of transparency from the police forces, about the fact that no one really in the government has stepped in. We have the JOD that's kind of stepped in and said, like, oh, you have to wear name tags, and you can't arrest people for not moving for more than 5 seconds, but they haven't really stepped up and said, what's going on here? We need to have a serious investigation. And that's why people are protesting, and that's why I felt the need to protest. That's why I felt the need to go, because this is something that affects me. I have a Black husband. It affects him. One day I will have Black children. It will affect them. If change doesn't come to the whole system, the system is broken, okay? The system targets minorities, peoples of color, you know, blacks and Hispanics. We can even broaden that even wider, you know, to include, you know, Arab, Middle Eastern people, you know, they're being stopped in the airports and stuff like that for terrorism. That's an unconscious bias. That's racial profiling. We have, you know, concepts of racism that exist on government levels, you know, of things that we can't stop. We have to fly. We have to deal with police. So people are fighting for revolution and for reform, mass revolution, mass reform on a mass level, on a grand scale across the country. And that's why, you know, that's why, in my opinion, everyone needs to go to Ferguson, because it affects all of us as American citizens, you know. Everyone needs to go to Ferguson. Everyone needs to learn as much as they can about what's going on, you know. I also know that it's a little strange for a lot of people because Ferguson is a youth movement, and a lot of people are used to seeing, you know, movements and political movements look a certain way, especially when it comes to race. And I mentioned this in one of my other videos, that we have an idea of what movements are supposed to look like, just like we have an idea of what racism is supposed to look like. And when we see racism and when we see movements and they don't fit that idea that we have in our head, it confuses us. And it kind of makes people feel like, well, was that racism? Well, is this a youth movement? Or is this just a bunch of kids out in the street? Because you have, you know, in Ferguson, this is not like the civil rights movement of the 50s and the 60s where you have kind of like older, you know, 30s, 40s, middle-aged people, you know, dressed to the nines, you know, marching with gloves and purses and hats, right? You have kids my, I mean, I'm not a kid, but older people have a habit of calling me a kid, so I'm just going to go with it. You know, you have kids my age, you know, early 20s, mid-20s, teenagers, you know, out there with no shirts on, you know, sagging, you know, boxers out, chains on, sneakers on. You know, I ran into someone, this kid that was talking to me, this kid is fucking brilliant, right? I'm talking to this kid, and he was younger than me. He was 17, 18. I'm talking to this kid. He's like, yeah, I came here from Chicago. I'm like, oh, how long have you been here? He's like, oh, I came down here with a group of people after Mike Brown got killed, and we just, like, never left. We just, like, been here on the ground, like, mobilizing and, you know, organizing. Like, the leaders of the movement are the youth. They've quit jobs. They've quit school. They're starting organizations. They're giving, you know, teach-ins in the street, you know, on the steps of the old courthouse about civil disobedience and about, you know, learning about what's going on with the news and the cops. And there was a kid out there handing out pamphlets that said, know your rights in case you get arrested. And I damn sure took one, and there was stuff in there that I didn't know, you know. I'm talking to this 18-year-old kid that came from Chicago. He's fresh. He got his plaid shirt on. He got his chain on. I look down. I see we're wearing the same sneakers. Like, and people see that type of stuff on TV, and they already have an unconscious bias in their heads about black youth, that they see kids out there in sneakers and gold chains and plaid shirts and no shirts and sagging and asses out, you know, and they automatically say, oh, well, what's going on? You know, that looks like a mob. Those kids need to get jobs. They need to do this. They need to do that. You know, it's a movement. And those kids are fucking smart. They're probably smarter than you. They're definitely smarter than me, because they were schooling me on some shit about revolution and giving me all types of resources and websites and, you know, things to read about and things to learn. You know, so if you do go to Ferguson, I promise you, you're going to learn so much. You're going to see so much. You're going to meet so many amazing people, you know, your age, older, younger, leaders. You know, you're going to feel inspired. You're going to want change, want revolution. I promise you that. It's you know, it's a life-changing experience. What's happening there is historic. It's historic. And there is a reason. There is a method to the madness. It's not a bunch of kids out there just because they fucking feel like it, because they have nothing better to do. It's starting to get cold now. It was cold while I was there. It's been raining, and they're still out there, you know, 66 days, 67 days. They're there, you know. A lot of older leaders have been coming and kind of expressing their displeasure and distaste with some of the things that the youth leaders are doing. Oh, don't curse at the police. Don't do this. Don't do that. And the youth leaders are like, fuck that. Like, this is our movement. This is our time. We're the ones that's been here on the ground, mobilizing, organizing, starting groups, you know, making lists of demands, you know, organizing civil disobedience, protesting, getting arrested. You know, we're angry, but we're also full of energy and life and jubilation, you know. there's so many people there that you can tell that they found their path, they found their calling, they found what they're meant to do, and they're gonna do it, you know. And it's beautiful, it's amazing, it's really amazing. I encourage everyone that can go to go. They've extended Ferguson October. It's a whole month of resistance now. So if you can get there anytime this month, you know, they're having another large scale mobilization on October 22nd. So if you can make it, go. Please go. So hopefully this video shed some light on what's going on there, and how I feel about it, and why I went, why I think other people should go, why it's important. Please feel free to drop me a comment, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you next time. I don't know if I'll put any more videos up this week, because I feel like I've already overloaded you guys. I put up 4 videos, even though I don't have a computer. How does that work? So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.